friends, welcome to Friday. I have some more chapters and Nuts to You, and I even have a special guest who's helping me with my reading today. Baker decided to join us. So when we left off, they were trying to figure out a strategy to convince the other squirrels that this was serious and important and they needed to run before the tree choppers came. Squirrel nature, said Jed, repeating Chai's words. What is squirrel nature? I guess it's that we like games and we like stories. How do you get squirrels to be serious? And then another lightning bug flashed in Chi's mind. Maybe we don't have to, she said. Maybe it's better if we don't even try. Mean we should give up? Asked Titi in disbelief. No, said Chi, shaking her head. That's not what I mean at all. I mean, instead of fighting squirrel nature, maybe we can use it. Think about it. Squirrels like games. Squirrels like stories. Sometimes it works against us. Why can't it work for us? Jed was the first to catch on to her meaning. Squirrels will be squirrels, he said. Don't fight it, use it. What? Said Titi, knitting her brows. What are you talking about? Of course squirrels will be squirrels. What else would they be? We'll get everyone to move, said Jed, and to move their nuts by making it a game. It's going to have to be a great game, said Titi skeptically. It's going to have to be about the best game ever. Wait a minute, said Chai. Aren't you the squirrel who talked me into traveling 4 realms to find Jed? And you think we can't get our families and pals to play a game? I didn't say we couldn't do it, said Titi. I just said it would have to be a good game. Call me a squirrel then, said Chai, but I think every game is a good game. You're right though, Titi, said Jed. We should just try to make this one extra good. Ideas flew back and forth. Maybe the game should be like Splat Whistle, or Travel the Train, or Bob's Your Uncle. There could be different positions on the team. There could be rhymes. We don't have a lot of time for that, said Titi. Okay, said Jed impatiently. So what's your idea? She hadn't been helping, and he thought that she was being a poop, a stick in the mud. But actually, she had been thinking. Here's what I think, she said. If we call it a game and everyone thinks it's a game, then it's a game. At least for a while. It needs a name, though, and there should be teams and a way to keep score. But the most important thing is everyone has to believe it's a game. Why will they believe it's a game if they don't even believe us about the racket, said Jed. Because all you have been saying, said Chi-Chi, smiling, we're squirrels. We want to believe in games. Chi's face lit up. You're right, she said. That's brilliant. Let's call it Move. Perfect, said Chi-Chi. The rest we'll make up as we go along. Paws together, then, said Chai. He extended his paw. A paw from each friend fell immediately on top of it. Nuts to you, said Chai. Nuts to us all, they answered. It made them feel braver. They turned and headed for the grove. The relentless whine of danger edged ever closer. They did not notice how the relentless whine of danger lessened by 1/3 for about 1 minute. Chai had not seen Titi's messages, but one of the humans, having cleared the air around a stretch of the buzz path, saw 3 autumn leaves suspended from the wires. It must have happened by accident. Things happen, but one on each wire. That was odd. He pulled the closest one off. Teeth marks. He studied it. He put it in his pocket. Chapter 20. The Setup. When they strolled into the grove, the first squirrel to notice them was Jip. He nodded, uninterested. Then he did a double take. Wait, what? He stared at Jed. He reached out a paw and touched him, and then he passed quickly. Then he pulled his paw back close to his own chest. Jed, he said. Jed turned and smiled. He pretended to be surprised. Jip, he said warmly. Hello, old fellow. The hawk, said Jip. You were snatched. I saw it. The fact is, he had made quite a to-do over it. He had told everyone who would listen how he had shouted, Hawk! But the know-it-all Jed did not listen. He left out the part about how he shouted it after, not before. I tried, he said, throwing up his paws. What more can I do? He thinks he's so smart. It doesn't matter how smart you are. A hawk is a hawk. Hawk schmuck, said Jed breezily. I escaped clutches. High tree. He did a few swift kicks and chops. Hi-ya, he said. Practice pays off. Too bad you quit after 2 lessons. Jed's martial arts demonstration caught the attention of the other squirrels. When they saw who it was and who was with him, they rushed over. A hubbub ensued, and shouts and hugs and murmuring running through it. Escape a hawk? Jed shrugged modestly, like a hero maybe. The families of the 3 returning squirrels came pushing their way through the others to embrace Chai and their Jed and their Titi. And who was this? I'm Chi, said Chi. She's our new friend, said Titi, a really good friend. I'm sure she is, said Judah, tears running down her cheeks. Come here, dear. She embraced Chi too. Everyone was embracing. But where have you been? Asked Chevy. We thought we lost all 3 of you once, and now here you all are, plus 1 more. You must have quite a story. Let's hear it. He settled right in front of them to listen, and Jetta settled down beside him. Like Follow the Leader, another excellent game, the squirrels settled around and behind them. Upturned faces waited for the story. Jed couldn't be sure without counting, but he thought nearly everyone was there now. I slipped through the hawk's talons, he said matter-of-factly, and landed in a pile of leaves in a foreign realm. I thought I might be there forever, but Titi had climbed to the highest limb in our grove. She saw where I fell. She and Chai came to find me. I'm lucky to have such friends. We encountered many dangers, but here we are. We're glad to be home. It was a very brief telling. There was no time to lose. Oh, he said, as if he had just thought of it. Also, we learned a new game. Let's play around, said Titi. Yes, let's, said she. Loser has to clean up, said Chai. Game, said Sherrit, who was sitting next to Judah. I thought we were doing stories. It wasn't a very good story, said Zek from the back row. Too short. Need some more details. Like what kinds of dangers? How did you escape? I'll tell it better later, said Jed. After we play a game. Game? Said a muscular fellow called Burke. What's it called? Move, said Jed. You move, said Burke. No, said Jed. Move is the name of the game we learned. You guys are going to love it, said Titi. It has teams. Of course it has teams, said their friend Dottie. It's a game. Not all games have teams, said Zek. In some games we compete as individuals, and in some games we compete against only ourselves. How are we picking the team, said Jip, counting off rhymes. Tails in. Tails in, said Chai. Tails in, everyone. You can see all the squirrels put their tails in. Titi, who had other things on her mind besides Wayne, took the youngest pups for her team. They're small enough, she said. So 2 count as 1. That means I get all of them. She managed to get herself a team with Chevy and Judah because she liked old squirrels, and they seemed kind. Burke was also on their team. He stood a little away from them, concentrating on the rules that Chai and Titi were laying out. I'm too old for such nonsense, said Jetta. This doesn't sound like a game, said Chevy. It sounds like we're emigrating. That means moving. Shh, said she, alarmed. She held a finger to her lips and glanced meaningfully toward Burke and the other squirrels. Chemmy and Jetta looked at her surprised. I'm sorry, she said. I don't mean to be rude. It's just that you're right. There's a really good reason. I'll tell you about it while we work. I mean play. Can you help us make it a game, please? Chai and Titi had finished their instructions, and the teams were forming huddles to assign positions and go over strategy. Burke turned around to survey his team. What a bunch of duds. He was probably going to have to do everything himself. Everybody ready? He asked. Woohoo! Cheered Jetta. Go team! Yelled Chevy. Let's haul nuts, said Chi. At least you're a spunky group, said Burke. Chapter 21. The Game. Jed watched the chattering teams bustle out of the grove. In the quiet they left behind, he heard how much closer the rumbling already was. Would there be time to carry out the plan? No, of course not. But they had to try, right? He began to dig, 1 nut at a time. Every nut would help. The 6 teams, there may have been 7, maybe 5, definitely more than 4, probably less than 8, made their way toward the grove. No one quite knew where they were going or how they would know when they had arrived. And while the rules for the game had sounded clear and simple, there were some questions, like how long did this game last? How did they know when it was over? Still, everyone was psyched. Everyone wanted to win. They were all having fun. Dottie had run ahead of her team to scout the situation. She stepped along a bow and stopped. Something, a sixth sense, told her she had entered another grove. From her out-of-the-way perch, she watched the comings and goings. Jen had said you got extra points for moving in without anyone noticing. You got the same number of extra points for making friends. Dottie planned to try for nobody noticing. That could be tricky because Jip was on her team. Maybe if she found something in this very tree on the outskirts, no one would hear him yapping. She looked around the tree. Nothing. She looked up. Was that an opening or just a dark spot? She scrambled up to see. It was a beautiful, uninhabited hollow. Triumphant, she raced back down to where her team could see her and then beckoned them to start bringing stuff over. Burke was out ahead of his team too. Every time he looked back, the other tree was way behind, poking along, heads together, talking. When they saw him looking, they hurried to catch up. Come on, he said, exasperated. We probably won't win, but we should at least try. Sorry, boss, said Chevy. We got sidetracked. Thanks for the pep talk, said Jetta. I just feel so much more inspired now. Me too, said she. Super motivated. Lead the way. And amazingly, they did seem super motivated. Even Chevy, who was older than dirt, hustled back and forth tirelessly with acorns and walnuts and chestnuts. Also, Chevy had him call Burke boss. Maybe they had a chance after all. Thanks to himself. The rumbling grew louder. There was whining in it now. Even the squirrels, who were playing the hardest, couldn't help noticing. What's that sound? Said Zek. It's driving me nuts, and I don't mean that in a good way. What would you say, said Chai, if I told you that the humans are taking the forest away from around the buzz paths? Yeah, right, said Zek. What would you say if I told you that it's a swarm of giant bees? What would you say if I told you to put these nuts in your cheeks and take them to the other grove? Said Chai. Blah, 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 said Zek. The squirrels of the other grove began to sense that something was afoot. There was an awful noise, and there was some kind of population exploding. We'll see if they catch on Monday.